Product releases make for a great opportunity when searching for a topic for a new video. And today, we're going to take a look at the recently released RTX 4070 from NVIDIA, specifically the Founders Edition. I'll get it up and running on several proof-of-work projects, giving us an insight into the card's performance. If you listen to the game reviews, the general consensus is that the card performs at the level of a RTX 3080, and unfortunately, with a $100 price increase from the previous generation, there seems to be a love-hate relationship. I'll speak more to that in a bit, but let's get started with our first project. In acknowledging its recent pump in price, let's take a look at Radiant. I'll share my overclocks as we go through the video, but let's note that with more time, better settings may be found. If anything, this will give us a baseline. Once up and running, we see that Radiant is running at approximately 1.2 gigahashes at 134 watts. Compared to the 3070, we gain a big performance increase with a slightly better efficiency. For Radiant, the RTX 4070 is a big positive. Of course, that may only last until bitstreams are developed for the FPGAs. Moving on, let's load up Flux. As of recently, it's nice to see the difficulty come down on the project, and a big hand to the Flux team for recently hosting a roundtable discussion with a number of proof-of-work developers. I agree with them that moving forward, a united voice for proof-of-work will only offer an upside. Okay, after a few moments, the card is running at 64 solutions, and that is nearly no different than the 3070. Honestly, I'm a bit disappointed, and when looking at the power draw, it was bouncing around quite a bit, so I'm not real confident in my numbers. For the sake of the conversation, I'll peg it at 145 watts. At best, it's equal to the 3070, if not a bit less efficient. So at the moment, we're 1 for 2. Alephium using the Blake 3 algorithm is up next. I want to acknowledge Regal Miner, who recently added this algorithm to their software, and for me, it's running well and slightly more efficient than some other miners. We can see the 4070 running at 1.8 gigahashes while pulling 115 watts. This is a nice bump from the previous generation. I'm starting to see a small pattern. The core intensive algorithms are liking the RTX 4070. If you recall in my review of the 4070 Ti, I was disappointed in the card's performance when running on a project using the Kapow algorithm. And again, we are presented with the same issue. The 4070 only delivers 32 megahashes, which is nearly identical to the 4070 Ti and is far short of the 3080's 42 megahashes. Perhaps this is one algorithm that will improve with time, but until then, it's a good example of a problem Kapow developers are going to be faced with. Perhaps what is being experienced is Kapow's dependency on the use of the memory interface. The 4070 was reduced to 192-bit versus the 3070's 256. And since the 4070 Ti has the same 192-bit interface, it makes sense. At this point in the video, I'll throw up a chart sharing the performance of a number of other projects, including Caspa, which has recently had everything go parabolic, and I can't help but think that the GPU miner is the shrinking image in the rearview mirror. I'm going to show the 4070 and how it ranks to the 3070, since it's the last generation, the 3080, since its price is dropping, and especially on the used market, and AMD's RX 6800 XT because of its recent price cut. From the mindset of a gamer, they're not overly impressed with the 4070. But what about from our perspective? Well, let me throw my 2 cents into the ring. I personally like the design of the Founders Edition, and it's good to see the 4070 is physically the same compared to the previous generation card. Let's review current pricing. The launch price for the RTX 4070 Founders Edition, along with a number of board partners, is $599. While the 3070 was priced at $499 at launch, the market has rarely seen that price until very recently. If given a choice, even though it's $100 more, I would choose the 4070 when buying new. Everything is going up in price, and in turn, so are graphics cards. After the last 2 years, it's not rational to gripe over the price difference. If so, I would never have spent $1,200 on a 3080 Ti. And depending on the project, there is significant performance gains. I'm going to share what is probably the best case scenario that justifies the purchase of a 4070. When looking at the Blake 3 algorithm, the card delivers an 84% improvement in performance, while only asking for a 20% increase in the price. This is what gamers were hoping for, but did not receive. While this is not the case for all the projects, the RTX 4070 provides a lot of value for those that support the Blake 3 algorithm. Based on what we know at the moment, if your rigs are going to be primarily meant for projects such as Flux, Ravencoin, and Ergo, then the 4070 is clearly not meant to be added to the builds. A while ago, the community's buying strategy was very simple, as we were buying simply what was available. Today, nearly everything can be found new and in stock, so we can more easily pick and choose what we want, allowing us to get the best card for our mining strategy, which will of course be different for each one of us. So as a miner, we have to ask the question, does the RTX 4070 have a place in a farm, especially moving forward? I think the community will have a wide range of answers, but if we're going to be honest with ourselves, we all want one. Like potato chips, it's so tempting to get our hands salty, and we can't just have one, we're always looking for our next card. However, high cholesterol can bite us all in the ass, so we have to be mindful. The current generation of cards from NVIDIA is clearly showing us that it's not a jack of all trades, but we can't simply ignore it. Personally, I don't regret picking up the card. I think the design of the Founders Edition is solid, and with projects such as Alephium and the recent launch of IronFish, there's a place for the card. Speaking of IronFish, let's share the performance. Using the same overclocks as Alephium, the RTX 4070 can achieve over 16 gigahashes at 135 watts. Time will tell where the IronFish project will go, but it looks like the RTX 4070 will be able to participate pretty well. In closing, have you or are you considering adding the 4070? If so, leave a comment below. I recently achieved hitting 1,000 subscribers, so a big thanks to everyone who helped the channel get this far. If you have not already, consider subscribing. For this video, a simple hit on the like button will show me that you made it to the end of the video. Always be mindful of your uptime, and thanks for watching.